You're being lied to. Everywhere you look, you're being told that Democrats aren't doing the work. They're not fighting back, not making noise. But that's just not true. And the only people this assumption helps are Republicans. Trump, David Ellison. Now more than ever, we need to come together to support our Dems. All of them. Because if we can get the majority in Congress, it doesn't matter what each individual Dem believes. We will have the majority on all committees, be in control of all official hearings, and get to decide what comes to the floor. But I get it. You still want to support good Dems. So maybe it interests you that Pennsylvania 5's Mary Gay Scanlon went to the MoShannon Valley Ice Processing Center. And while what she learned probably won't shock you, I'm really happy to hear a member of Congress say it out loud.
What we did hear a lot about is that this camp would not run if they didn't have the detainees actually doing the work, to feed, to clean, to do the laundry. So we've got private prison contractors making millions every month and doing it on the backs of the people who are locked up there.
MoShannon is a former prison, but the former is doing a lot of heavy lifting. Because based on her very detailed account, detainees doing labor for little to no money is just one of the many things that makes it sound like it's still a prison. In fact, you might have heard about this detention center specifically as the site of a handful of hunger strikes over the inedible food. And Summer Lee led a letter last week, along with Chris DeLuzio and Madeline Dean, demanding answers from ICE on the hunger strike and the poor treatment of detainees at this facility. The Pennsylvania Democratic Coalition are working really hard to fight this. And back to Rep. Gay Scanlon. She wrote out a 10-point summary of what she learned while at the facility, including misuse of solitary confinement and details about how detainees are being treated like criminals. I really appreciate what went into making this press release as detailed as possible. I know you heard press release and your eyes glazed over, but I promise this is worth your attention, as is what California 27's George Whitesides just introduced. And yeah, I know he's a more moderate rep, but this is not a moderate idea, even with it being bipartisan. And that's one reason I really hate people treating bipartisanship as a dirty word. Because when we are out of power, it's the only way we can get anything done. So with that said, Rep. Whitesides introduced the Lowering Energy Costs Through Grid Modernization Act with Republican Pat Harrigan. The goal of this bill is to modernize the electric grid, which does a lot more than you think.
It encourages utilities to put new wires on existing lines, which means that we can get more power to where we need to put it much more quickly than putting on new transmission lines. So that's going to lower the cost of people's power, and it's going to reduce wildfire risk because the lines will be modern lines that don't sag as much, bouncing into trees or brush and starting fires, which is a big issue in my district.
I have never, for 1 second, thought about how to modernize the electric grid, nor how just getting new lines would help lessen wildfire risk. This is why Rep. Whitesides is in Congress and I'm not, because he thinks of things like this. And I know, you still hate the bipartisan label, but stay with me here. We are in the minority. Republicans have control of the House, the Senate, and the presidency. The only way anything can possibly become law, let alone pass either chamber, is if it's bipartisan. I'd rather a law that isn't good enough than no law at all. And anything we can get done that makes life better is worth celebrating and talking about. So now, next time you're asked what Dems are doing, you can talk about what Mary Gay Scanlon learned during her visit to the MoShannon Valley Ice Processing Center, and George Whitesides fighting the spread of wildfires with his Lower Energy Costs Through Grid Modernization Act. Who knows, maybe you'll convince someone else, like I hope I've convinced you. Because remember, our voices are our superpower, but only when we use them. Bye.